Welcome to your chair yoga class. We'll get started with a blanket or a towel, or if you have a yoga blanket that you like and use and it's nice and cushiony and thick, you can bring that along. That's the only prop that we're going to be using today, and we're going to save that for supporting the spine in meditation. So to begin, we'll find a comfortable seat in our chair. You can use a chair like I have or any other chair that's accessible to you. It might be helpful if you have a chair that doesn't have a big cushion so that you can slide from side to side on the chair itself. As you're ready, walk your feet out. Take attention to where your rib cage is in position to your pelvis. Think of the pelvis as the bottom of a bowl and the rib cage as the top dome of a bowl, and just trying to bring the two so-so, one on top of the other. We'll start with both of our index fingers meeting at the point of our navel, thumbs reaching up towards our low ribs, pinkies expanding down towards the low abdomen. Taking a soft roll of the shoulders up and back, having the sense that the crown of the head is attached to a helium balloon, gently extending up towards the ceiling. We'll take our gaze down to the ground or to the space in front of us. Just start to feel your abdomen here, noticing if there is any subconscious gripping or holding, or if you can relax the belly and let it pull out towards the hands. Keeping the gaze down on the ground or the eyes closed, start to observe the breath coming in through both nostrils, noticing where it expands in the body. As you exhale, gently draw your navel back to your spine. Feel the skin pull away from the fingers as it draws towards the back of the body. Inviting your next breath in, relax the abdomen again. Allow it to balloon out almost like a Buddha belly would. Exhale is started by that gentle drawing back of the low abdomen and navel towards the spine. Letting go of any tension in the belly, letting it balloon out as you breathe in again. We'll take 4 breaths like this. Soft, gradual engagement of the abdomen as you breathe out. Releasing that and inviting the next breath in, allowing it to make space around the waist, low back, sides, and ribs. Meeting your breath capacity exactly where it's at. No need to develop a particularly long or deep breath. Just find one that feels nourishing and easy to be with for now. We'll finish this breath and take one more. Great. We'll shift the hands and open the eyes if they're closed. The hands will now come around the rib cage, almost like you would do a chicken dance. We'll take the thumbs to wrap around the backside of the ribs. The rest of the fingers wrapping around the waist and the low ribs. Once you get familiar with the sensation of allowing the belly to expand out on the inhale and gently collecting the strength of the belly to draw back towards the spine on the exhale, we'll start to introduce some movement throughout the ribs to help support the spine during movement. As you breathe in, can you feel the breath expand into the hands from side to side? This time, as you breathe out, feel the rib cage hug towards the midline until the full breath is out and complete. Breathing in through the nose, belly is soft, ribs expand from side to side. Exhaling as you gently draw the navel back and the ribs hug in, seeing that breath out until it's finished. Taking 3 more like this, maybe exploring what it would feel like to breathe in towards your thumbs, like you could breathe into the back of the body. Full, complete, easy breaths out will make more space for your next breath in. Let's take 1 more together. Most of your lung tissue lives in the backside of the ribs and the sides of the ribs, so learning how to utilize these areas of the body with breath will give you more options in where to breathe in when we put our body in different positions. Releasing the hands around the sides of the ribs, cross one hand over your heart and the other over that, so you make an X shape. The fingers will reach towards opposite shoulders. We'll have the sense that our rib cage and pelvis is balanced on top of one another, the crown of the head gently extending up towards the ceiling. Breathing in through the nose, dropping the chin down to the chest as you breathe out. Take a breath into the back of the neck, the upper back. On this exhale or next, turn your nose all the way to the left until you can't look to the left anymore. On your next inhale, look up towards the top left corner of whatever room you're in. Finish your exhale here. Carve with the tip of your nose on your next breath in a half circle above you, gazing up towards the ceiling. As you start to breathe out, pull your chin towards your right shoulder, looking down to the ground on the right. Pausing for a breath in through the nose. Exhale, chin towards chest again. We'll reverse that direction, taking a breath in, turning the nose to the right. Exhaling here. Breathing in, look all the way up to the top corner of the room, whatever you're in. Exhaling completely. Use your next inhale to create a half circle, reaching and carving your nose up towards the ceiling and over towards the left again. Breathing out as you draw the chin towards the left shoulder. Taking another breath in. Exhaling, chin to chest. Our hands are over our chest to limit any rib cage movement. We'll reverse the circle again, this time just allowing whatever breath to come in and whatever breath needs to move out of our nose happen at any rate that it feels comfortable. Drawing a big circle, exploring the comfortable range of motion that your neck has function in today. And then once you complete that round, reverse it once more. If you feel any clicking or straining, feel free to make the circle smaller and more controlled. So this is less about our abilities and more about befriending our body and the capacity of movement that it's giving us today. We'll lower the hands down onto the thighs. Before, we were restricting some of our rib cage and really emphasizing neck mobility. Now we're going to reduce the amount of movement in our neck and emphasis of our rib cage being able to extend and flex. With your next breath in, start to feel the center of the heart balloon out and forward as you pull the shoulders together behind you. Exhale as you pull the front of the ribs towards the back of the body, almost like you're sinking towards the wall behind you. The chin will naturally drop down towards the chest. Head is kind of lazy. As you breathe in, rib cage makes the movement forward and up again. Hands might slide back. Exhaling, rib cage sinks back, navel draws back, and the head is just following the movement of the rest of the spine. The hands might slide forward towards the knees. Lining that up with your length and speed of breath. Exhaling as you round through the spine. Starting your inhale a moment before you begin arching the spine and lifting the rib cage up. That way the breath supports the movement. You might even start your exhale a moment before you round the spine here. If it's in your personality to give your practice 150%, challenge yourself by reducing your effort to around 70%. So you're finding easy, accessible movement, not trying to push yourself to any new range of movement quite yet. Between those two extremes of rounding the spine and arching the spine, come back to what feels like neutral for your body. Drawing the head over the center of the hips, feeling the back of your neck gently lengthen up towards the ceiling. We'll bring both of our hands together in front of us, flipping the palms up. The pinky sides of your hands will come to touch. Focusing on our shoulder joints now, we'll take a breath in, pointing the thumbs behind us like you're having 2 plates of food on either side and you're holding them. As you exhale, bring the palms together. Feel the shoulders move on the backs of the ribs. This is kind of like a shoulder scrub. As you breathe in and the arms go wide to a T and the thumbs move back, you might be able to sense the shoulder blades scrubbing on the backs of the ribs, coming closer towards the spine. As you exhale and bring the arms in front of you, focus on the feeling of the shoulders moving away from the spine. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here together. Exhaling as the hands come in front. And if you notice the shoulders are getting tired with that straight arm position, feel free to bend the elbows a bit. Making space for the breath. And exhaling and releasing the breath. One more round. And releasing the hands down. And on your next breath in, float the hands forward and up. Soft elbows, soft shoulders, soft wrists. As you exhale, sweep the arms out wide and down by your side. Reversing the motion. Inhale the arms out wide and up by the ears. Exhale the hands softly forward and down. And on your next breath in, hands float up and over your head. Exhaling, they come out wide and down by your sides. And one last round, breathing in, arms sweep up by the ears. Exhale, they come forward and down. Walk your feet just one step forward in front of you. Take a breath in to fill up ribs, abdomen, sides, and back. As you exhale, softly slide your hands towards the front of your knees, dropping your chest maybe a quarter of the way down. On your next breath in, slide the hands back up. Breathing out, navel draws back as you slide the hands forward again, lowering to any degree that feels comfortable on your low back, hips, upper back, and neck. Using your inhale to lift back up, supporting the spine, hands slide back. Exhale, navel drawing back to the spine, nice and slowly, letting that spine round over the thighs. Maybe the weight of the head is dropping too. Let's take 2 more rounds with our breath, really slowing our movement down so that we can make space for the full breath to develop. And that second time that you slide down, feel free to use the support of your elbows on your thighs. You might widen your feet out, dropping the weight of your head. If you'd like to go a little further and it feels supported and sustainable to rest there for a few breaths, you can always slide your hands down, dropping the weight of your head. See if you can cat the back just a little bit here, almost like you were growing a turtle shell on the back of the ribs. Feel those low ribs in the back and the low back fill up with breath as you inhale through the nose. As you exhale, notice if you could drop the weight of your head any more towards the floor. Breathing in, fill up the back of the ribs. Stretch your gaze forward an inch or two. As you exhale, dropping chin to chest, could the weight of the head get any heavier towards the floor? Breathing in, pull the chest forward, look forward, start to walk your hands up the thighs, coming back up to your neutral seat. Walk the feet back in line with the hips if they've come out a little wider. Take a breath in to slide the hands towards the knees. Exhale the left hand back towards your left hip, pulling the left elbow back with a small rotation through the rib cage. Breathing in, left hand will slide back towards the left knee. Switching sides, exhale, right hand back towards right hip. Chest makes a small rotation towards the right. Lining that up with your breath, inhaling through center. Exhaling, left hand slides back and the chest follows the movement of the shoulder. If you notice any hinging in the back or a sensation that movement is getting exacerbated in one part of the spine, make the twist a little smaller and let the hips do some of the twisting for you. That means when you were to twist to the left, could you pull your left hip back and let your right hip slide forward? Breathing in through center. We'll try that on the other side. Exhale, right hand slides back. Feel your right hip slide back on the chair. Inhale back. Which feels better? Do that for another round of breath to each side. And in this way, it's less about how deep you can get into the pose or what your ability is, and it's more about finding the variation of movement that's going to apply to your breath and your body best. Once you wrap that up, we'll take a breath in and reach our arms up and over our head. Exhaling, left hand comes down by your side. Inhale and reach the right arm up a little bit higher. Exhale, lean towards the left. As you breathe in, left arm lifts up, both arms are reaching up. As you exhale, right arm comes down. Using your next breath in to reach up through the left fingers. The following exhale to lean over to the right. Inhaling, both arms lift up, building a pattern here. Exhale, just the left arm comes down. Everything else stays the same. Inhale, right fingers reach a little higher. Exhale, leaning over to the left. One more time on the other side. Inhaling, both arms lift up. Exhale, just the right comes down. Breathing in, left fingers reach up a little higher. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhaling, arms come back up through center, connecting the palms. Breathing out as the thumbs come towards the chest. Take a moment to balance the gaze over your fingertips or close the eyes for 3 consecutive breaths in through the nose, 3 consecutive breaths out through the nose or pursed lips, recentering our attention and our focus on breath development. Lowering the hands down to the mat, to your thighs. Bring both of your hands in front of you with the elbows bent by the ribs. Imagine the elbows were stuck to the ribs. They were glued there and they can't quite move. As you breathe in, bring the palms out to the sides, keeping them in line with the elbows. So you've got a nice little 90-degree there. On the exhale, let the hands just come back to where they were before. Inhaling through the front of the body, feel the chest expand as the arms come out. Exhale, elbows stay by the sides, hands come back to where they were. Trying that 2 more times. Inhaling, hands come out to the side, elbows stay by the sides of the ribs. Breathing out, they come back to where they were. For these last 2 rounds, we'll add a little movement with our head. Breathing in, hands come out, look to the right. Exhale, gaze to center, let the arms come back to where they were. Trying that, switching the gaze to the left as you breathe in. Exhaling, palms come back through center. We'll rest the hands on our thighs and widen our feet. Once you get your feet to a little wider than the hips, use your hands as support. Lean the chest forward and start to circle the ribs down to one side, slightly leaning back behind you, then over to the other. There's no degree of twists or rotation that you need to be at. You're just kind of dipping your toes into the water of this movement and finding what feels good, noticing, of course, what doesn't feel good, and then creating a variation of movement that works really well for what your low back and hips are carrying today. So I like to reverse the circle a few times, especially if there's a sticky spot. I'll stop there and reverse. And we'll come back up through center. Flip your palms up so the back of your hands are resting on your thighs. Lower your right forearm down to your right thigh, building a nice and strong 90-degree angle in the right elbow. Notice how my head is leaning over too. The movement comes from my rib cage rather than just forearm down head. It's got some support through the spine. Take a breath in, bringing the left arm over your left cheek. As you exhale, bring the left arm behind your back, bending at the left elbow, bringing the back of the left hand towards the lower spine or the back of your hips. Inhale brings the left arm out from behind you, over the left cheek. Exhale, pulls it behind you, feeling the left shoulder snug closely to your spine, stretching the side of the neck and the top of the left shoulder. Lining that up with your length of breath, feeling the ribcage expand with your inhale as the arm comes over your head. Can you feel the ribcage muscularly hug towards the midline, releasing that full breath out? Taking one more round here. Now on this next breath out, we'll leave the left hand behind our back with the left elbow bent. See if you can drop the weight of your head any more, slowly drawing your chin towards the center of your chest and back out towards the right shoulder. If this feels good and it helps you get into a little nook and cranny that normally feels very restricted and tight, stay with it. If moving the neck causes some Rice Krispie sounds, find one area that feels nice to lean into and pause for a breath or two. On your next inhale, we'll come back up through center, resting both of the back of our hands on our thighs, closing the eyes for 2 to 3 breaths, noticing any difference without labeling good or bad. Observe what change, if any, has been made. And opening the eyes, leaning into the left forearm. Press your left thigh away with your left forearm so that you've got a nice and stable shoulder joint. With your next breath in, reach your right arm up and over your right cheek. Let your rib cage and your head lean towards the floor, towards the left. On this exhale or next, sweep that right arm around and back behind you by bending your elbow and taking the back of your hand towards the back of your hips or the lower spine. Start the breath in a moment before the movement. That way the ribs can expand and help support the extension of your arm. Exhaling, arm sweeps back behind you. The weight of the head stays heavy to the left that entire time. Taking 3 more rounds with your breath. If you ever want to pause for a little breath break, taking an inhale and an exhale before you start again, please do so. I am a big fan of using breath work as it applies to asana or movements. So that means we prioritize the breath so that it can help bring us support in the pose rather than finding alignment and then just adding the breath in. The next time your right hand is behind your lower back and you feel the right shoulder snuggling up towards the right side of your spine, encourage the weight of the head to drop again. See if you'd like to pause for these next 3 to 4 breaths, or if you'd like to curiously move the chin towards the left shoulder, towards the center of the chest. It's so nice to be given some freedom to find your little spots so that you can make this practice fit your needs. And on your next breath in, rising back up through center, connecting the inside of our thighs by bringing our 2 fists in between our knees. We've done some wide-legged positions, and if you tend to carry tension or maybe strength more so on one side of your low back than the other, or maybe you're carrying strength a little bit more in one glute than the other, it can be nice to reset the support around our sacrum by bringing these 2 fists in between our knees and using our inner thigh muscles to gently hug in and engage. That should release some of that pressure and compression around the sacrum and the back of the pelvis. Don't be surprised if you get a little click or readjustment here. That's all good and well. And then releasing that. Connect the feet together now. Take a breath in, reach your arms up. As you exhale, softly swing your arms back. Lean your chest forward and engage your glutes until you feel the tissue, the muscular tissue, lift your sits bones away from the chair. And then relax the glutes. Breathe in, lift the arms up. Exhale, swing the arms back, squeeze the glutes, lean with the chest. Taking 1 more round of breath, arms come forward and up, chest comes forward and up. Exhaling, lean with your chest, swing your arms back, squeeze the glutes. And release, widen your feet out, and walk your feet back a little bit further behind the knees. This will give you more of a push forward when we come out of the chair. So our chair class started a stop the plop mission. And the plop is what happens when we get halfway down to the chair and then just release all of our weight into the chair. So there's a lot of missed opportunities for strength building there. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the heels back a little bit behind the knees, set ourselves up for success, and then use some arm swinging to help us practice coming out of the chair with control. This can be quack, quack, quack. This can be quick or it can be slow depending on what works better for you. Let's try a few rounds. I'm going to use sound on my exhale to help me connect to my core and power up. If you want to add that into your practice, please do so. It's fun and helps us connect to our silly side. Taking a breath in, arms swing forward and up. Exhaling. Inhale, lower the hips if you lifted, nice and slow. Reach your hands forward and up. Press into your heels, make some sound, lean forward and rise up. Inhale to slowly lower to the chair. You can always feel where the chair is behind you. 3 more times. If you're not coming out of the chair quite yet, that's okay. You're still using all of the same muscle groups, just in the effort to ride there. If you are coming up and out of the chair, come all the way up to standing, and as your hands swing back, can you feel your glutes engage and the shoulders engage? Once more, just for good measure. We'll come all the way up and we'll come behind our chair now for some of our standing positions. So you can use the support of the chair in front of you if you'd like. Let me move this to the side so that you can see my feet position a little better. Once you come behind the chair, we'll set ourselves up for some warrior poses. Starting with warrior 1, we'll bring our right foot behind the right leg of the chair. The left foot will step back, more so in line with the left leg of the chair, so we have some space for our hips. Hands can be on the chair. As you breathe in, bend into your right knee and gently lift up through the chest until you feel a stretch through the left front of your hip. As you exhale, straighten your right leg and lean forward with your chest just a little bit until you feel a soft draw of stretch behind the back of your leg. Breathing in, let's re-bend the right knee, pulling the chest up. Exhaling as you shift the hips back, chest stays lifted as you shift forward. Breathing in, front knee bends again. Lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, front leg begins to straighten. Lean forward, keeping that lift in the chest. Taking 2 more rounds with your breath. If you want to add in arms reaching up by the ears, whether it's one or both, pull that into your practice. The arms might swing back as the front leg straightens and you lean. Take our last round here. If the arms are up, lower your hands down to the chair. Keep that front leg fairly straight. Maybe you have a small bend in your knee. If you're feeling pulling behind the back of the knee, that can help soften that. Lower your hands down to the chair. So I'm lowering it behind the chair, but you can always lean into the front as well. Once you get here, actively press your right heel into the ground and give your hips a little wiggle from side to side. Taking 2 to 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Coming back through center, walking your hands up. Take a bend in your right knee and step your left foot up. Breathe in to sit your hips back, bending the knees. On an exhale, straighten the legs. Breathing in, bend the knees, sit the hips back. Exhaling, legs straighten with strength, push the floor away. One more time with your breath. Can you feel the back and the sides of the ribs expand with your inhale as you sit the hips down and back? Hugging that all in as you exhale and push the floor away. We'll move the left foot to the left leg of the chair, right behind it. Right leg will step back in line with the right leg of the chair. Arms can be down by your side, on the chair, or rising up by the ear. Using your next breath in to bend into the left knee. Pulling the chest up to visit your warrior 1. Exhaling as that left leg straightens, softly tilting with your chest lifted up. So that means the movement comes from the hips rather than folding through the back. Inhale, hips drive you forward, front knee bends, chest lifts up again. Exhaling, hips draw back, front leg straightens, extending through the chest and the crown of the head. Let's take 2 or 3 more times with our own breath. Maybe you're lifting up one arm or both. One last round with your breath. This time we'll lower our hands down onto the chair, either the front of the chair or the back of the chair. Start to straighten that front leg that's not already straightened. Always welcome to keep a small bend in it if you feel any pulling behind the knee. We really want to feel the stretch in the belly of the muscle, either behind the back of our thigh or in our calf. Actively press your left big toe into the mat. Give your hips a small, curious wiggle from side to side, just strumming the different strands of your hamstrings. And then also combining that with some opening of the lower spine, right? So muscles don't work individually. They're all connected. So you can use these bigger, broader movements to find that connection between them. Coming back through center, walk your hands up. Step your right foot up. Tap your right toes back behind you, shifting most of your weight onto the left foot. In fact, can you bend your left knee a bit so that you're sitting back into your left hip? Keeping your hands softly on the chair, or if need be, on the seat of the chair itself. Breathe in as you extend back through the right leg. You want to feel the engagement in the right glute and possibly the back of the right thigh. As you exhale, pull the right knee forward. Breathing in, extend it back nice and slowly with control. Exhale, pull it forward. 2 more rounds of breath. Not looking for too much movement in the lower back, just feeling the hip do the work here. The next time you reach your right leg back, lower your right foot back behind you and seal your right heel down. Let's take a bend into our left knee. That strength and engagement you felt with that leg movement forward and back before, can you imitate it here? Can you feel the right glute wrapping down towards the back of the right thigh, helping the pelvis stabilize just a little bit? Once you get that, take a bend in the left knee. Breathe in and reach forward with your right arm. Let your chest turn towards the chair. As you exhale, pull your right hand back, almost like you would pull a bow and arrow back. Breathing in, reach forward with the right arm. Let your pelvis swivel over the left leg bone or around the left leg bone. Exhaling, right elbow pulls back just like a bow and arrow would. Right, so we're not limiting movement in our ankle or our knee or our hip. We're using this rotation to find what likes to twist and what doesn't like to twist. Whatever rotation that we lack in our rib cage, we'll have to compensate for in our pelvis, in our knees, or our ankles. Exhaling as you pull back, pause here. Keep your left hand on the chair or reach it forward, completing that bow and arrow shape. Spread the toes out wide, grounding down through the outer edges of the feet, feeling the glutes wrap down and back. 3 breaths. Gaze might be on the left thumb or on one point. And on that 3rd breath out, let your hips turn forward. Your hands come to the chair. Step your right foot up. Walk it out a bit, and we'll take that same sequence on the left. Tap your left toes behind you. Keep the chest lifting up. Hands are supported softly with the chair. As you breathe in, extend the leg back, lifting it off of the mat, maybe adding in a small bend with that right knee. On an exhale, pull the left thigh in front of you. Lift the foot up. Breathing in, extend and kick it back, feeling the strength in the back of your legs. Exhaling, it pulls in front. 2 to 3 more times with your breath. Taking a breath break whenever you need it. And it's important to remember that chair yoga is not for sissies. So this is a lot of work when you're thinking about what is working and how it's working. The next time you reach your left leg back, seal your left heel down. Take a bend in your right knee. So my back is going to be facing you, but what I'd like you to notice, since you have this view now, is how the pelvis has a slight tilt to it right now. See if you can free your pelvis up. Can you tilt it from side to side? Find the place that feels the most neutral and natural for you so that your spine can lengthen up and out of it. Once you have the stability in the legs, outer edges of the feet grounding down, glutes engaging towards one another, take a breath in and reach your left arm forward in front of you. As you exhale, pull it back like a bow and arrow. The rotation starts in the rib cage. Breathing in, turn the chest forward. The hips might follow, turning forward. Exhale, elbow pulls back. Chest turns to the left, and the hips might swivel to the left too. Staying nice and connected to the length and speed of your breath so that you can dictate the speed that you move at and follow the breath's cue. One thing I'll make note of is, can you feel the pelvis turn around the right femur, the right leg bone? Whenever that rotation stops, the rest of it is going to come from your knee and your ankle. So if you have knee pain and ankle pain, you might just be aware of that. It's never bad for the knee to go in, but if that's a pattern that you're already exhibiting in your walking motions, you might encourage knee to stay over ankle and to not track inward. Keep the left elbow pulling back. Find what feels like neutral and natural in your pelvis again. Pause here for 3 breaths or extend the right arm forward with your gaze on your right thumb. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out through the nose. Feeling the waist fill up with breath. Next exhale, turning the toes forward, the hips forward, stepping forward. Lower your hands down to the seat of the chair, walking your feet back with a small bend in your knees until you come into our downward dog position, wagging the tailbone from side to side. Letting one knee bend, the other leg straighten, and then switching it up. Walking the hands back up on top of the chair. We'll come back to sit in the chair. Once you come to sit in the chair, we'll start to focus on some stretches now. So once you come back, go ahead and take a bend in the left knee. Left ankle will be underneath or roughly underneath left knee. The right leg will be extended out. Now, because we're lifted from the ground, there's more of an opportunity for our right knee to hyperextend and drop towards the mat and towards the floor in a way that's not so functional and not so healthy for our knee. So to help mitigate that, we're going to actively put a small bend in the knee and try and keep it there the entire time we're moving. As you breathe in, slide your right hand back towards the right hip. Turn the chest to the right. As you exhale, slide the right hand down the right leg to whatever degree feels comfortable and sustainable on your back and hamstring. Notice how I have my left hand on my left thigh, so not all of my weight is in my right arm and right leg. I can actually press my left hand into my left thigh to help me rise back up as I breathe in. I'll take a small twist to the right, right hand pulls back. Exhale, right hand slides down again, leaning with the chest, dropping the weight of the head. Taking 2 more breaths. On your next exhale, as you slide down, stay there for 2 inhales and 2 exhales. If it doesn't feel great to stay there, rise back up. Coming back up on this inhale or next, bend your right knee up and cross your right leg over your left knee. Lift your left heel up away from the ground, so just the left toes are pointing into the mat. Take a breath in, opening the arms out wide. As you exhale, connect the insides of your forearms, maybe the elbows, maybe the palms. If they don't connect, that's okay, just bring them towards one another. Lift up through the elbows. Drop your head down to your chest. Take 4 breaths. Left heel is still lifted up. Left toes are still pointing down. Pressing forward through the elbows. Reaching up through the fingers. Filling the back of the ribs and the sides of the ribs with each inhale. And on this next breath out, lower the left heel down, lower your hands down. Bring your right ankle in alignment with your left thigh, right above your left knee. Bring both of your clasped hands around your right knee, pausing for a breath in. As you exhale, lift the right knee up towards the chest like it could move diagonally towards the left shoulder. Inhale, right knee comes back down, arms straighten. Exhale, lifting it up and over diagonally. 1 more round. We'll drop that right knee back out to the side. Keep right ankle over left thigh and start to circle the rib cage towards the wall in front of you, over to the side, and then giving yourself a bit of a lean back as well. Awesome, lifting back up. Bring your right knee up, clasping your hands around the right shin. Pull the shoulders together behind your back to help lift the chest up. Draw your knee a little bit higher to whatever degree feels comfortable here. Pause here for 2 breaths, in through the nose and out through the nose. On your next breath in, use your right hand to pull the right thigh out to the side, stretching the left arm to the left. Take another 2 breaths in and 2 breaths out. Exhaling, right foot goes down. Lower the hands. Stretch your left leg out, flexing your left toes back. Rest your right hand on your right thigh. Left hand will slide back towards the left hip as you breathe in, turning the chest to the left. Exhale, left hand slides down left leg, taking a small bend in the left knee so that that knee isn't hyperextending. Breathing in, press down through the right hand. Slide left hand back up to left thigh. Taking a small twist. Exhale, fold you down to whatever degree feels most comfortable. Continue like this for 3 or 4 breaths, lining up the exhale and the time that it takes for you to breathe out with the time that you're spending folding down and leaning forward. In this round or next, pause in the stretch, releasing the full weight of your head. Finishing this breath, and using your right hand to press into your right thigh, inhale all the way back up. Exhale, pull the left knee up, cross it over the right. Full breath comes out. Point your right toes down to the ground, right heel lifts up. Big breath in, arms come out wide to the sides, soft elbows. Exhale the hands, the forearms, and the elbows towards each other. If they don't match, that's okay. Lift up through the elbows. Press forward through the elbows so you can really feel the back of the ribs opening up. Drop the chin towards the chest. 4 inhales and 4 exhales. The slower you draw the breath in through the nose, the more time the muscles surrounding the rib cage and the diaphragm itself has to modify its shape and expand. Quick movements are usually met with a tightening or a gripping in our body and in our musculature. Slow movements are much more preferred by the nervous system when we're visiting new movement patterns and creating new movement possibilities. Lowering the right heel. Bring your left ankle up towards the right thigh, right above the right knee. Clasp both of your hands around the left knee, so it's a subtle turn to the left thigh. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift the left knee up towards the chest, or maybe even towards the right shoulder in a diagonal motion. Breathing in, it comes back down. Exhaling. Two to three more rounds. Noticing when the breath or the body or the mind wants to get ahead of one another, can you combine the action of thinking about what you're doing, breathing while you're doing it, and then determining the length of time it takes for you to do it by the length of your breath. Mental training, huh? Bring your hands over the left shin now and start to circle around. Breathing into the back of the ribs. So much of our effort behind what we're doing with our breath and why we're moving slowly and why we're asking ourselves to match the length of time that it takes for us to breathe with the length of time it takes for us to move is that it requires a lot more attention. And the purpose of yoga is to help prepare the mind and the body for meditation. Preparation for meditation is so, so important. Otherwise, our mind is not in a state conducive to staying with one thing for an extended period of time. So I would like to share with you a small, short centering exercise, and we'll move into final relaxation from there. If you have your yoga blanket or towel that you'd like to use, I find it's really helpful to either cushion underneath my hips so that my hips are slightly elevated over my knees, or even cushioning the back of the chair so that the back of my ribs have something to lean into while maintaining alignment over my pelvis, head over rib cage. Once you arrive here, flip both of your palms up. Softly close your eyes or gaze down to the floor. Find 3 comfortable breaths, inviting them in through the nose, allowing them to expand belly, ribs, and chest. Staying with each exhale until it's complete. And with your palms flipped up, bring both of your thumbs to the bottom of your index fingers, right where your index fingers stem out of your palms. As you breathe in, slide your thumbs up to the tips of your index fingers. Exhaling, slide the thumbs down to the base of the index finger again. Move the thumbs over to the base of the middle finger. Breathing in as you slowly slide the thumbs up to the tip of the middle finger. Exhaling as you slide your thumbs back towards the base of the middle finger. Moving over to the ring finger. Breathing in through the nose. Sliding the thumb up to the tip of the ring finger. Exhaling as it slides back down. Pinky finger is next. Reversing the motion back to the index finger. We'll move to the ring finger. Breathe in. Slide the thumb up to the ring finger's tip. And then exhaling as you slide it back down. Middle finger. And index finger. Finishing there, keeping the eyes closed or with a soft gaze on the ground. Let the fingers soften, the entire hands relax. Observing any leftover sensation within the hands as you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing where the mind goes without labeling it good or bad. Gently drawing your attention back to any sensation you might be able to name within the hands. Taking 2 more nourishing breaths in through the nose and complete breaths out through the nose. Pulling both of our hands over our heart, crossing one arm over the other. Feeling the breath gently expand into the back of the ribs, the sides of the ribs, and the center of our chest. offering some compassion and gratitude to your person, your body, knowing that the body has waited a long time for you to befriend it. From my heart to yours, namaste.